When I do get busted, it's just stress is gone.
The U.S. has more than 2 million inmates locked up. More than any other nation on Earth. Every year, hundreds of thousands of inmates are released into society, and many end up going back to prison again. In this one-hour Vanguard report, we'll follow inmates from behind bars to the streets as they struggle to defy the odds against them.
It's all on how you carry yourself. Carry yourself the right way, you won't have those problems. If you carry yourself the wrong way, then you know what happens. You know, end up where you don't want to be. I don't want to end up where I don't want to be.
If you hear any alarms, step back, stay out of the way, and someone will get you in a safe area.
The California Institution for Men is one of the main intake centers for returning parole violators in the state of California.
Receiving and release. All inmates coming back into custody come through here. All inmates being released come back through here and back out.
All right, I guess.
Let me go find out what.
All right, maybe we'll wait out here for a second.
Okay, just hang on. They're getting dressed right now, and then we'll cut across.
In this cell, there are about 20 inmates. They just arrived here. They're being reprocessed back into the system. They're all parole violators.
Adam arrived back in prison today for violating his parole. He was originally charged with possession of illegal narcotics, and while on parole, he was busted for using again.
Trying to get a job in this environment that's the economy and the employment problems for an ex-parolee, it's just doubly hard to get work, doubly hard to get stabilized, and stress levels were probably more than usual, so I ended up relapsing.
So was that the biggest struggle for you on the outside, was getting a job and just getting back into the normal life?
Getting back into society, because you're trying to get things back, you're trying to get your life back together with very little resources. Right now, my stress level is down, because I don't have to worry about certain, roof over my head, food, things like that.
Inmates who have special needs, which could mean medical, psychological, or they could be gang dropouts who need to be kept away from the general population for their safety, are processed separately from the other inmates.
All right, everybody in the tank, grab your property, get up, go to the back tank, move, hands behind your back, 4.
All of these parole violators must go through reprocessing. Fingerprinted, photographed, they're given a psychological evaluation, and their tattoos are put into the system.
That's your neck.
Just a bunch of words.
What's your name?
Daniel.
Daniel?
Quintana.
Daniel, so this is, you're here on a parole violation? Can I ask how many times you've been in prison?
This is my third time.
Third time. How old are you? You look so young.
I'm gonna be 25 actually.
So why are you back this time?
GTA.
GTA, Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard to stay out?
I don't know. It's hard growing up.
Are you in a gang?
No.
No? A lot of gang banging in your area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much. I made a big turnaround in my life. This last time I got out, like I said, I just got caught up at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I'm gonna stay out this time.
What race are you?
White.
Okay, let me see your right hand.
When was the first time you went into prison?
Back in 2000, or actually when I was about 18, 19 years old.
Is it hard to stay out?
the way the parole system works, it's kind of hard because, like, if you're on the streets, you ain't got no place to go. They harass you. The cops harass you.
Are you homeless?
Yeah.
You are.
Right now, I just don't got a place to live.
I met several inmates who told me they'd been homeless. It makes it easy to understand why so many of them end up back in prison, where they're at least fed and housed. California's prison system has become overwhelmed with both violent and non-violent offenders. This facility alone has twice the number of inmates it was designed for.
So this is just another housing unit that was originally a gymnasium. The typical scene that we've shown now throughout CDC is gymnasiums been turning into housing units, which is not what they were originally intended to be. Like, anyways.
A gym/housing unit.
Hey, listen! There's a camera coming in here. If you don't want your face sewn, get on your rack and put it down.
In this housing unit, signs read, "No warning shot," meaning if anything breaks out, officers will fire.
Okay, so we're on this podium, and they just inform everyone that there's a TV crew in here, so everyone's looking at us.
Why can't we go down there?
It's too dangerous because there's only one exit, so they're not going to take us down.
We weren't allowed to go any further into the room for safety reasons, but the officers allowed 3 inmates to come outside to speak with us.
Hey guys, thanks for talking to us. Many of these tats when you were in the system?
Yeah, that's all of them. Yeah, you gotta earn tattoos. You don't just get them in here. You usually earn them.
So tell me how you earned one of these tats.
You could be through beating up people, recruiting, stabbing, whatever you gotta do.
Despite their history, each of these guys has dropped his gang affiliation in an attempt to break the cycle of going in and out of prison.
We've all been in the same place. It's like, he's got the same thing I do. I've earned every letter on my body, just like he has and he has. Now, we don't want to go out there and stab people anymore. We don't want to go out there and ruin people's lives because we stabbed them and their families are looking down because, you know what, we're the bad guys.
Stephen, Daniel, and Arthur have all spent a big portion of their lives in and out of prison. In a few months, they'll be released from prison once again.
Do you guys think that you won't be back again once you get out?
Well, I think for a lot of us do think we're not coming back, but it just happens.
I got family and support and everything, but they live in a different county, and I try to ask to get my parole transferred over there, but they say no. I know I can make it out there. They give me a chance to go where I need to go, where I know I can make it.
Honestly, I think a lot of us is going to be back. Again, like myself, I have nothing, and a lot of these other inmates have nothing. So what they do is they go back and they start using drugs again and start committing crimes. So yeah, a lot of us are going to come back. I, for myself, I know I'm going to come back.
At any given time, there are more than 2 million people behind bars in the U.S. And since 95% of prisoners are eventually released, there are several million ex-inmates living in society. At Corcoran State Prison in California, a maximum security facility, we watched as 3 inmates were about to get out of prison.
Go ahead, stand right there. You're getting a check for $181.27. There's a check here for $181.27.
These are clothes you came in with?
No, this is clothes they sent me to go home in.
Who sent them?
My girlfriend. Thank you.
Go ahead and sign there and sign there.
What's going through your guys' heads right now?
Well, a lot of anxiety, anticipation,
Yeah. How long have you been in?
I've been down for a decade, 10 years.
10 years. How long were you in for?
4 months.
4
I'm
months?
only on a violation.
Parole violation.
Yeah.
Now that you're getting out, where will you be going?
I'll be going back to see me, back to my town.
Do you have family there?
Yeah, my stepmom and my dad live out there. They don't want to pick me up, so they said get back to town and we'll talk. So we'll see what happens.
How long have you been in?
This time, just 3.5 months.
This time, 3.5 months. How many times have you been in?
This will be my 5th.
What has it been like over the last 3 months?
Kind of like deja vu.
Think you'll be coming back?
Honestly, I don't feel like I am. The previous time.
Did you say that last time?
Yeah, no, this is the first time I've ever. Previously, I've always felt like, okay, I got one more term. I felt it. This time around, I don't feel that at all.
How often do you see the same guys coming back to prison?
I've recognized several of them. I've been with the department a little under 22 years, and I've been in R&R almost 7 years. So these inmates that are in here right now, they'll most likely, some will return. And I've recognized them coming back, and when I do talk to them, they just said they couldn't make it out there. You know, they're back on the street, no job, no family, and so they come back. The one that's been in here, 10 years now, most likely he learned he don't want to come back. And the chances for him coming back are very slim. The other one, 5 times, most likely he'll come back, and he'll come back.
Sergeant Rangel here has just sort of, said what he predicts for your future. He says you have a pretty high chance of making it, but he thinks that he's going to be seeing you guys again. What do you have to say to that?
Statistically, he's correct.
Yeah.
As far as, it depends what family you have and job out.
I hope to not come back, but there's a possible chance.
In a minute, these guys are going to be changing into civilian clothes, and they will be processed out of here and back into society.
In California, each parolee is given a minimum of a 3-year parole when they get out. And it's almost like you have half a foot still inside prison and half a foot in the community. It's just to see if you can reintegrate back into the community safer and for yourself and for the public safety. Right now in this economic state, 2 of the biggest, I want to say, downfalls for parolee is homelessness and unemployment.
I've been a drug addict for 20 years. I'm 40 years old right now. Being in this program is the start of the rest of my life.
The Parole and Community Team Program, or PACT, is a mandatory meeting for newly released parolees in California. The meeting is meant to offer guidance to parolees to help them transition back into society.
A lot of times when people get out, they're stuck because they just don't know what's in the community. Some of them have been in custody for a long time. So of course when they get out, things change. And when they do get out, they get out and they're handed $200 and they're said, go make it work. So a lot of times this helps them figure out what's in the community swiftly. Because if we don't catch them swiftly, 9 times out of 10, they will reoffend.
When did you get out of prison?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks. That was pretty soon, pretty recently. How are you feeling right now?
Okay.
Okay. How long were you in?
Like, almost 4 years.
4 years.
Like 3 years and like 8 months or something like that.
Wow. What was that like?
I don't know. I didn't know different. I was 18, 22 now, so that's what it was.
What are you hoping to do?
Stay now. That's the main thing. Just stay busy. Do the family thing.
Different agencies, from the DMV to drug and alcohol rehabilitation centers to health clinics and group homes, were on site offering information to parolees.
Electricians have a longer process. have to test, you have to have an oral interview, then you're put on a list based on what score you got. Plumbers, you can just walk in and apply, find your sponsor, carpenters, drywall, roofers, you know what I mean?
How does it feel like getting out?
I felt good because it was a waste of time being in there. You know, it's just not for me.
What's the biggest challenge that you see these men and women facing after they've been incarcerated?
The inability to get gainful employment solely based on their record. Convicted felons, it's just everybody's afraid of them, and it's not necessarily what they did, it's just the fact that they've been incarcerated. So they can be qualified for the job in some cases and never get called back. So that's really our biggest challenge.
It's a hard time these days to get jobs, period.
And that's one of the things we tell them. It's hard for everybody.
Can I ask when you got out of prison?
About 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks. How long were you in for?
About a year.
About a year?
Yeah.
So what was that feeling like when you got out?
Fresh air, food, family.
What was the one thing that you missed the most that you were able to do?
My kids,
How many
children.
kids do you have?
I have 3.
Do you have a job right now?
Yes, I do.
You do? That's
Yeah.
great. What are you doing?
I'm an auto repossessor. Pretty decent job, you know, take care of my family, so, you know.
A lot of people say that's the hardest thing is staying away from your old friends and old temptations.
I wouldn't say it's hard. It's all up to you. Like I said, it's up to you how you want to live your life. You know, if you want to continue to be going back and forth to prison and dealing with those type of people, then you end up back there. It's all about what you want to do.
We met up with Justin at his home with his kids and his fiancée, Victoria.
I missed my daughter's birthday in 2007. I'm usually in jail at this time.
These are letters, are cards that he sent me.
Victoria pulled out a box of letters and photos, things that Justin had sent her while he was in prison.
He used to write letters like, oh, I got your letter. The kid's doing fine in school, that's great. And how was your birthday? Or how was Jalan's birthday? I can't wait to get home too.
Victoria, Justin was gone for about a year. How did you deal with that?
I had a lot of hate and a lot of anger because it was hard trying to take care of them 3 kids. And I'm young, 23 years old.
Do you have that fear that this
No.
might not be the last time?
No, I believe he's gonna stay out this time. I seen the change when he was in jail because when I used to write him mean letters, he wasn't responding to the letters like he used to when he normally go to jail. Like, whatever, forget you then. Like, I could do it on my own. His attitude was different. Like, okay, if that's how you feel, I'll leave you alone. I'm always love you. That was like in January this year. So when I started seeing them letters, I was like, oh, he's not the same Justin no more. He's been out a month. Normally when Justin be out of jail 2 days, you do not see Justin until Justin come home. And he hangs out with his friends. His friends be all at the house. No. All he's been doing is going to work. On Fridays, every Friday when me and him get paid, we go shopping or do whatever. It's been totally different, helping out in the house.
Were you involved in a gang back then?
Yeah,
Yeah. Have you ever been shot at?
I've been shot in both my legs and 5 times up my back.
Wow.
That was just one day.
Just
All that
one
happened
day.
one day, yeah.
He wasn't even supposed to walk again. I used to make him walk every day when I came home from school. And he started walking again, and one day he got mad at me. And he grabbed his crutches and walked straight out the house and hopped all the way down the street on 1 foot. And I was like, well, at least he walking again.
Victoria.
When did you get this tattoo?
2 days after I came home. My love, I'm getting a little stressed because I'm getting close and I need everything to be perfect that day. That's our day for a fresh start in our lives, Vic. Vic, always remember that the things I tell you and believe in me, because if you believe in me, I will go far because you are my world, baby. I wish I could be home to help and give her support and so she won't be so stressed about what's going on and things like that. So it kind of made me think like maybe it's time to do something different. Make better decisions, make better choices in life so I can be here and be helpful to my family.
When we first met 24-year-old John and 32-year-old Jose, they were in the process of being released from prison. We checked back with them 3 days after they were released to see how they were adjusting.
What have you done for the last 48 hours?
Shopping. Might have a job on Sundays, bussing tables. Other than that, I haven't really done much. Sat around and watched TV. I usually don't do anything for the first week I'm out.
Why is that?
I don't know, I just like getting back at being at home, or my little routine back.
How many times have you been in and out then?
I've been in and out of prison twice, but I've been in and out of jail for the past 4 or 5 years.
So you've been in and out so much that you have a routine that you follow when you come out.
Yeah.
How is it going with your mom, and is it your stepdad?
No, it's my stepmom and my dad.
Or your stepmom and your dad?
Yeah.
So when we saw you in prison, you didn't know if they were going to let you back in.
Yeah.
And it turns out that they have let you back in.
She told me she wasn't sure about me coming back home, but she also told me that if I didn't have anywhere to go, she wasn't going to tell me, no, you can't come back here.
Tell me, what kind of drugs were you involved with?
Just meth.
Using and dealing?
Yeah.
What was, and how long did that go on for?
That's been going on since I was 16, 17.
What kind of money could you make dealing?
Well, it all depends. You can make money, and you can make money and buy a lot of stuff and then have to come back up again. It's a roller coaster. If you're good at it, you can make a lot of money, but you always get busted. You always get busted. I don't care what anybody says, you're always gonna get busted. It's dirty money. So.
And how many times had you been busted for drug-related charges?
I have 7 under the influences and 1 possession charge.
There's some people that might just say, why can't you just grow up? You're gonna be 25 years old. What's
that
the deal?
a lot of people think that it's growing up, but it's really not. It's not the fact of growing up, it's just the fact of, I don't know, it could be growing up. I don't see it as growing up.
What do you think your biggest struggle is going to be this time?
Finding a job like it was last time. My record is mostly drugs, but I got a theft that I went to prison for. Once they see that, they're just like, oh, well, yeah, we can't hire you. You can't touch money, you can't be around money. So it's a little hard.
So what do you think you'll do?
I'll hopefully get a construction job. Or a mechanic's job. Those are the things I know how to do.
These are the names of your kids?
Those are my sons right there, Jacob and Connor.
Jacob and Connor.
Yeah.
John's story is a common one in California, where more than 30,000 people are locked up for drug-related offenses. Then we went to meet Jose. A gangbanger since he was 12 years old, Jose has spent most of his adult life behind bars.
I've been coming to prison since '94.
For gang-related activities?
Pretty much. Pretty much. If it wasn't for selling drugs, which is still gang-related, that's pretty much it. It's gang-related.
You guys have been dating on and off for the last few years.
Yeah.
During that time, Jose, you mentioned that you've been sort of in and out of prison.
With her, since meeting her, I've been in twice. No, 3 times. This will be the 3rd time. This will be the 3rd time.
Some women might say, why are you still with this guy?
She left me after the first one. After the first one. This time around, I felt like I bonded. Even though I only did a little bit of time, I bonded with her a little more.
But he changed too. This last time he got arrested a lot.
How so?
His anger.
Well,
yeah.
I felt like I was like an adolescent. I was still like a little kid. Still wanted to be in the mix. Still wanted to be in the neighborhood.
And that was gangbanging?
Pretty much.
For how long have you been involved?
It's about 20 years now.
20 years?
Since '87. And it was the wrong time.
So out being in and out over the years, what are you feeling now?
I'm still nervous. Like, today was my big day. Today I went to talk to the parole officer. This whole weekend I don't know what I'm gonna do exactly. I mean, I got a family here, but I can't live here. You know, so I'm on high control, so I need to come up with an address within 30 days.
What does that mean to be on high control?
Where they monitor your movements 24 hours a day. They gotta know your whereabouts, more or less. You gotta have a cell phone where they could reach you 24 hours a day. It can't be around any other gang member, especially La Puente. They scrutinize on almost everything.
Do you think it will be difficult to stay away from the gang?
Yeah. I keep trying to tell myself that I'm not institutionalized, because I've lived on yards where you got lifers, people who are never gonna get out. And I can't see myself like that. But honestly, when I do get busted, it's just, stress is gone. Man, I don't have to worry about eating, they're gonna feed me. It's almost, I clown around, I always say I'm on vacation. Just came home from vacation. It's sad to say.
Just a few days after we met up with Jose, we lost contact with him. We tried calling him, but his cell phone was turned off. We left a note for him at his parents' house.
This is pretty much where it happened. I was sitting over here, and the car came on the wrong side of the street, and got shot right here. No, I'm not gonna get out. But this is pretty much the spot where it happened, like right in here.
Where what happened?
Where I got shot. When I jumped out of the car, they pretty much, shot at me while I jumped out of the car. I got hit in both my legs, and I kind of passed out, rolled the window down right here, so you can see. Like right there in that little section right there, I passed out right there.
What do you think when you drive by that spot?
It brings back memories. It makes me think about pretty much dying, because I thought I was gonna die that day. But it lets you know, like, the things that you do, it always comes back on you. That's that thing called karma. I know a lot of people believe in it, but you really have to go through it to really believe it. It's like when you do things to other people and you hurt other people, it's like you feel like you can't be hurt the same way. And then when it does happen, it's like, these are things I would do to people, and look at it happen to me. You know what I mean?
Justin was a member of a gang called the Rolling Neighborhood 40s, which is part of the Crips. The terms of his parole prohibit him from hanging around with other gangsters. So can you tell me what things you used to get into as a Crip?
Not getting into any kind of full detail, but the normal gang banging, hanging out, pretty much fighting and doing things of that nature. See somebody you don't like, you fight them, and of course other things happen, but we're gonna get into detail on that. But the normal everyday things you hear on the news, just everyday things.
Since the last time we saw Justin, he was no longer living with his girlfriend, Victoria.
Why did that happen?
Misunderstanding. She didn't like, me hanging out, like, as far as on the weekends. I work all week, so Saturdays I tend to want to go out and club a little bit, There's nothing wrong with that, but, she's, like, worried. She doesn't want to go back to jail, and she's just like, why you can't just be in the house? And she's like, I'm only 26, and I'm still trying to have fun, but I can understand where she's coming from, so we just came to the decision that she'll go to her own place, and I'll stay here, and I'll get all the partying out of me, and then, when it's time, then we'll make it happen.
What about these tats? Are these new?
No, I've had these already.
No, I don't remember seeing this one.
This is new.
This one's new?
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on your enemies and watch your friends. Put your life in your own hands, or your life will end.
This one over here.
Is this new?
Yeah. And that's the block I pretty much hung out on. That's where everything happened. Shootings and police, hanging out, and the normal.
Have you been seeing any of your old buddies?
Well, most of them are going to jail right about now.
Really?
All of them are going to jail right about now, yeah.
Why is that?
All of them. I don't know.
doing stuff they ain't supposed to.
Is there some going down right now?
Yeah, a lot of people are doing a lot of talking. A lot of talking. Yep.
Is that hard to avoid for you?
Nope. Because if I see them, they coming that way, I go that way. Go the whole opposite way.
There are, like, I'm noticing just sitting here, different cars passing by.
A lot of my friends.
Do you know the the people?
Yeah, I know the guy that just passed by right now.
So when you say that you're still going out and clubbing, I mean, you're still hanging out with your friends. You're just not getting into any business,
no,
right?
When I say clubbing, I'm hanging out with a different crowd.
Okay, so you don't even hang out with your old crowd. But they're right here. Is it hard to avoid them?
No. Hey, how you doing? All right, I'll holler at you. Get in my car and go.
Coming up, we meet Selena, who's been out of prison for a day and going to meet her parole officer.
Before we do this, are you clean?
And John struggles to create a life on the outside.
I'm trying not to talk to anybody, trying to stay away from everybody, and it's boring.
California has one of the toughest parole policies in the country. Nearly every person released from prison is placed on parole for 3 to 5 years. Vicky Lauder and Lawrence Doss are Los Angeles parole agents whose job it is to monitor parolees to make sure they're staying on the right track. Today, they're meeting with Selena, a parolee who just got out of prison yesterday.
Well, you guys carry sidearms?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Don't everybody?
Have you seen it out there?
Yeah.
Grab one of these. And I'm Officer Doss, or Agent Doss. And we're going to do what you call an initial, consists of you getting all the information needed and you signing your conditions of parole. Now, conditions of parole is things you must do while you're in the community. You understand that?
Can you tell me what your criminal offense was?
This time?
Yeah.
Terrorist threat.
Terrorist threat.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Basically, I had a fight with my significant other, and I ended up leaving. I was in an abusive relationship, so I ended up leaving, and she called parole and said I made a terrorist threat to her, basically saying that I said I was going to hurt her.
So you got violated because your partner said that you threatened her.
Yes. It's easy because somebody can call and basically say something and they'll believe it because of my past bad stuff I've done. They believed it when I was trying to stay straight this time.
But I have to hear you read them out. We'll start at number 2.
Unless other arrangements are approved in writing, you will report to your parole agent on the first working day following your release. Any change of residence shall be reported to your parole agent in advance.
Do you understand that question?
Yes.
If you are out of LA County within 50 miles.
I have to let my parole agent know.
Right.
Get an okay for a pass.
You have to get an okay.
I had a baby in prison and everything.
Where's your baby now?
My mother has him up north, but I'm trying to... My family's really not good for me. They're in addiction and stuff, so I try... My mother's not, but the rest of my family is, so I'm trying to stay away from them and just learn how to love me and do me right now.
So you specifically asked to be removed from
them.
where you are from, your family, your friends, so
Yeah.
that you can try to get on the straight path.
Right.
What's different now? Why are you trying so hard and making more of an effort?
Because of my baby. I'm trying to do the right thing for my baby, not be self-centered and selfish and only think about me. I have to think about him first and then me. So I'm trying to get off parole so I can just be strong for my baby, do what I gotta do down here, and then eventually get my baby back in my custody. 5, weapons. You shall not own, use, have access to, or have under your control any type of firearm or any knife with a blade longer than 2 inches except kitchen knives, which must be kept in your residence, and knives related to your employment, which may be used and carried only in connection with your employment.
Let me clarify that. What I mean by that, let's say if you have what we call a hook knife, carpet knife, and you're found with that, but you work installing carpet, that's a reason why you should have that. But if you're not installing carpet and you're just walking around with a knife, you're in violation if it's longer than 2 inches.
You've been in and out of prison since you were 18 years old. For what offenses?
My controlling case, my boyfriend had a gun in the apartment. The apartment was under my name, so I was held liable for it. Which we were using drugs, selling drugs. So that was the type of lifestyle I chose to be in. So
what kind of
I
drugs?
went to jail. Methamphetamine and marijuana.
And when was the last time you used?
I used, I've been clean for 1.5 years. I'm going on actually like 21, almost 22 months clean and sober. For the first time since I was 13. Yeah, I've used drugs since I was young. 13 years old, I started smoking weed, and by the age of 17, I was smoking meth. So.
Do you still crave the methamphetamine?
No. No, I don't.
Before we do this, are you clean?
Yes.
If you're not, we don't have to do this. You can just sign what we call a waiver.
No, I'm clean.
All right.
Over a year clean. Staying that way.
Let's go do this test. You got anything in your pockets? Any change?
Money.
Anything?
Yep.
No, money's good.
Yeah, I got
What do you have in your back pocket?
my comb.
Raise your pants leg up. All right, step in.
What kind of drugs are you testing for?
Anything shows up. Even prescription medication shows up. Which means she should have a prescription for that. And if she don't, she's in violation.
What about money? Do you have a job? How are you making money right now?
I don't have a job, but I'm doing that kind of job search, so hopefully I'll get a job soon. It's hard with felonies.
And when you apply for a job, do you have to state your record?
Yeah, that's what's hard. We have to say, I've been convicted of a felony. Some employers look at you different.
It's a tough time right now to get a job.
Yeah.
You need any assistance, you got my assistance, you have the agent assistant here. And good luck.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
We went back to check in on John for a second time. It had been 3 weeks since he'd been out of prison, and he was doing everything he could to stay away from outside influences.
It's boring, very, very boring. I'm trying not to talk to anybody, trying to stay away from everybody, and it's working here at the house, cleaning up. I started work Saturday at the restaurant. So much different than in prison, though. It's much faster paced and everything. Trying to stay out of the way of the cook and whatnot, but you know.
What are you gonna do the rest of today?
I gotta chop some trees down here at my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, it's only noon now, right? So we finish this like in a couple hours, then what are you gonna do?
I don't know. Sit around, make some lunch. Yeah, I pretty much sit around a lot.
It's kind of like being locked up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, you're pretty much locked up because if you think about it, you want to stay away from everybody and stuff. It's kind of the same thing.
Shortly after this interview, we lost contact with John. First it was Jose who wasn't returning our calls, and now John. I was starting to feel like a parole agent. These guys just seem to be disappearing on us, one after another.
The first location we hit today is Anthony from Little Valley, aka Rebel.
Parolees are given different levels of attention depending on how dangerous they're considered. One early morning in East Los Angeles, we went out with parole agents and sheriff's deputies who were looking for a recent parole violator who was suspected of having ties to organized crime.
You went over to your parole address. You weren't there.
I live there. I just came over to visit.
To visit?
Yeah.
Well, it don't work like that.
Ready for the post? Yeah. Come over here.
The deputies here were able to find who they were looking for. They're taking him in for violating his parole. They also found somebody else who was with him who's also violating his parole, so they're taking these two guys in right now.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things.
While plenty of parolees go back to prison, there are those who seem to be making it. The Amity Foundation is a residential program that offers rehabilitation, counseling, and group therapy to parolees, including Selena.
The success rate is what we have found out through the research is that if people complete these programs in the community, totally reverses the chance of them coming back to prison. So you get out of prison in California now, you have a 70% chance of going back to prison. If you complete this, which means not dropping out, not staying 30 days, but at least 6 months, totally reverses that percentage where there's a 70% chance of you staying out.
You know, the things that I cannot change is the things in my past, you know, and I have to learn to let go of those things. And so I can start from today forward. Because if I keep dwelling on that, I'm not going to have any time for today.
So Selena, you dyed your hair since we last talked to you.
I was bored on Sunday and I didn't have nothing else to do, so I dyed it.
Do you get bored a lot?
Yeah, I'm frustrated here lately. I feel like I'm trapped here or something, but today was my first day in job search, so it gets me out of the house. It gets me like a little freedom, and plus I know I'm trying to, you know, complete a goal, so I'm happy. I don't like when I have to come back, but
So why do you feel trapped?
I just feel like I'm in jail again, kind of, but I know that's just my bad thinking, you know, because I know this place is good for me, so.
So what are some of the positive things that you've been getting out of this program?
It's a behavioral program, so it helps me with my behavior because I have anger problems.
When was the last time you felt there was something that was really going to set you off?
Last night.
Last night? As recently as last night? What happened?
Well, we had a group and a girl called me a cuss word and I flew off at her, and they had to call me out of group because I have such severe anger that I explode. So they don't want me to explode, so they'll pull me out of the class. So
where would you like to be, say, in a year from now?
Being a counselor here. I want to eventually stay 6 months to a year so I could eventually have a job as a counselor here, because teenagers, kids, or even adults that have problems like that I've went through.
Lucio is another new arrival to the Amity house. So I noticed you're very tidy.
This is some of the things that I normally, I guess, I started doing in prison was like pull my stuff as far whether it's my like, you know, boxers, t-shirts, whatever, you know, just fold them a certain way, roll them up and stuff.
This is one of the cleanest, most organized drawers I've seen in a very long time. So that's one of the things you learn from prison, right? Keep it tidy.
Keep it sharp, yeah.
So you got out of prison a month ago after being in for 11 years?
Yes.
What were you in for?
For 187, murder.
For murder.
I want to show you. This is one of my pictures.
This is you?
This one I got when I was in
This is Pelican Bay?
2001. This when I was in Corcoran. This was one of the recent most pictures that I'm graduating from high school, you know.
You graduated from high school in prison?
In prison.
When you went into prison, you were 17 years old.
17
you
years
hadn't
old.
graduated from high school?
No, I was a dropout.
Yeah. Now how old are you?
I'm 28 years old.
How have things changed? How have things changed in the world in 11 years?
It seems like life out here is goes fast, you know. It's a roller coaster, you know what I mean? I'm kind of like, I was stuck in a place where it was more like we're secluded from people, and out here everything is changed, you know what I mean? technology. It's just like to just digest is kind of like difficult. It's a fast life. Everything's put out there, temptation, and one thing that I myself believe is that I do not want to return back to prison.
Have you ever had a real job since you were in prison for 11 years?
I think the only real job I had was washing dishes and cleaning floors. That was the only. It was a prison job. Which was 12 cents an hour.
The only job you've had was in prison. You've never had a real job.
I never had a real job.
Now you come out and you have a record.
I have a record. And I think that's one of the things that I kind of feared being rejected. But
so where are we going to see you in a year?
In a year, you're going to probably see me working at a fast food restaurant. Hopefully get myself together. And in 5 years, hopefully have my nice place. Hopefully have a girl. Hopefully be able to go out there and enjoy the park, the beach, places I've never been before, and just live life.
In the state of California, 70% of parolees end up back behind bars within 2 years of being released. After following parolees on and off for over a year, we came to see that for some people, it's become almost second nature to be locked up. For others, it's will and determination that will keep them out. And sometimes it just has to do with luck and circumstances.
Part of the process, strip down completely. Take everything off, put it on the floor, sit on the bare bench. Everything comes off. All right, now listen, the rest of your property that's on the floor, if you don't want to send it home, put it in your hand right now. If you want to donate, get up and put it in this cart. I don't want no jewelry in there.
What is clear is that with nearly 100,000 people under the age of 30 in prison or on parole in the state of California alone, how to keep the next generation out of prison is a challenge that's yet to be resolved.
You've been doing this for 20-some years, right?
Yes.
Do you oftentimes see people coming back for their third, fourth, fifth dozen time?
The same people come back all the time. All the time. Frequent flyers, we call them.
It's, there's a little pain involved, a little bit more pain than when you usually experience getting a tattoo, But it just feels good that at least I'm getting this process going as far as starting now, So I think I could move on, move on with my life.
See more Vanguard Wednesdays at 10 p.m. on Current or online at current.com/Vanguard.